Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. For the next hour, you'll hear proven methods for how to live the multiple income streams dream. Ryan is passionate about helping others discover their gifts and start their own business. He's published 5 books, and his courses and group coaching programs have changed the lives of thousands of students all over the world. Ryan's books include Private Label, The Easy Way, Finding Your Grace Place, and his latest, Streams of Income. And now, here's your host, Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger. In today's episode, we're chatting with my friend Joel, who has built a private label brand of an item that he makes himself. His office is right in his house on the first level, and he's can be at home with his family, and he's just killing it with this private label brand that he sells for about $10, and his cost to manufacture them are a little under $1. So crazy margins for him. And if you're a crafter, or you can make things, or you have access to something that you can actually make right there on site, you can have your own private label brand. So hopefully this will expand your thinking on what private label can be. So here's my interview with Joel.
Sweet.
Joel, welcome to Streams of Income Radio, man. I appreciate you being on with me and doing this.
Not a problem. I enjoy this. So
yeah, so you and I have known each other for quite a while now. I don't know. I know you just recorded on Jim's podcast, right? Silent Sales Machine.
Yep.
Cool. I'm eager to hear when that comes out, and that'll be a good episode. But tell my listeners who you are, how you got started selling online, and all that.
Man, well, my name's Joel Golden. I started selling online way back. Let's see. I want to say 1999.
Wow.
When I started doing some eBay stuff.
Okay.
I started importing pocket choppers or pocket bikes, mini bikes from Italy. And that was a whole other story, man. I was selling used motorcycles out of my front yard, and went to a motorcycle show in Indy, and saw these little tiny pocket bikes, they're, I don't know, 2 feet long or whatever, go like 35 miles an hour. And I'm like, wonder what it takes to be a dealer on those. And the guy's like, just buy 10 of them. And I'm like, okay. So I went home with 10 of those in my truck, and we had a 1-bedroom apartment. And my wife is like, you got a week to get rid of those because it's not good decor. So I did that, and I sold all of them within the first day on eBay.
Wow.
So I went on to become the largest pocket bike dealer in the U.S. For about a year, until the stores started complaining, and had to do minimum prices and stuff. So,
incredible.
Yep. From there, I launched Pocket Choppers Incorporated, which was, we actually manufactured miniature choppers. I did had deals with like the Tuttles from Orange County Chopper and stuff. Sold one to Tony Stewart, got to meet him and stuff. That was really cool. And then that was my first big taste of defeat. Got in with a business partner that was very shady, and that was horrible for me. It was she destroyed the business, and
oh my gosh.
Low part of my life right there. So
sure.
But that's when I became a Christian too. So rock bottom, get to see the Savior, and then upwards and onwards from there. After that, let's see. I don't think I did anything else online. I tried a few things online, but the biggest problem was always I hated shipping stuff.
Sure.
I hate it with a passion. Fast forward about a lifetime after our adoption of our boys, I started another business, and that was foreclosure inspection. I had 11 guys working for me, and that's a really hard job to do. I mean, people hurt in that and losing their houses and stuff. And it was 12, 14-hour days right after the adoption. And I'm like, there's got to be something bigger. Well, there was something bigger. I ended up going to seminary. as a 40-year-old when I went to seminary, dyslexic 40-year-old with 2 special needs kiddos. Both my kiddos have Down syndrome.
Yeah.
So, my spare time, I was trying to work while going through seminary, being dyslexic, reading thousands of pages a week, and it was burning me out. And got a job working. I'm very familiar with vinyl graphics. I used to install them all over the nation, and I got a job doing that, doing fleet graphics. And in my spare time, I'll back up just a little bit. I built a motorcycle in our seminary apartment.
No way.
So I started a vlog on that, a motorcycle vlog. And one of the things I did on my lunch break was I had my helmet and I did a reflective wrap on it, which is awesome. Well, then that wrap started, or that video, it was crazy. It's like a 20-minute video. It started going kind of viral, a few thousand a week, and got into the Amazon affiliate link on that. I'm like, might as well make a little bit of money.
Sure.
Selling something similar.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, Joel, why don't you just sell it yourself on Amazon? I'm like, I don't even know how to do that, Dad. And he's like, no, it's simple. I'm like, I don't want to ship anything. I hate that. I don't have time for that. I'm working, a ton of hours doing school. He goes, no, you just make a package, send it in, they'll ship it for you. I'm like, I could do that.
Yes.
So let's see. My first product, I got approved for Amazon. Just look this up today, January of 2017.
Okay.
Got my first check from Amazon in February 2017 for $34.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
But it's a start, though.
It was a start. It's just, and I mimicked the product that I had chosen to closely represent what I had. Yeah. And from there, we just kept growing. Yeah. And I was doing everything on my lunch hour at first, and then it was everything on my lunch hour, and then a few hours at night, and then it was I didn't sleep. So fast forward, private label brand was launched in the early part of 2017. Variations, I started doing those. Let's see, just a couple months afterward. Okay, and then. I remember for the adoption group that we went through, the advocacy group is Reese's Rainbow. And every year they have a reunion that we would go to at a campground. And every year we had gone, we had, somebody had sponsored us. We couldn't afford it. Well, 2018, my wife was like, they're out of sponsorships. I don't know how we're going to do this. And I'm like, well, we got enough money. She's like, what are you talking about? I hadn't told her about this because no. She's like, after the last business, she's like, no more businesses, none. Wow. Don't do it anymore. Yeah. And so this was a secret project for a while.
How'd you keep it a secret?
Well, most of it was done on my work break. Okay. So I'm like, actually, I've been kind of doing this side thing, and I want the boys to get involved, but I wanted to know how to do it. And she's like, okay, I don't like this, but you have enough? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So that was 2018 was the first year we paid for ourselves for that. And then last year we were actually able to help pay for some other people to go.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. And then this year we were going to pay for some more people, but the event got canceled because of COVID and stuff. But I went from just, this is the crazy part, because if you listen to all the gurus, everything has to be, $20 to $50, and it has to fit in a shoebox size, and you have to sell 10 a day, and you don't have to. Yeah. All of my products up until last year, well, except for the first one was $19.99. My competitor was $21.99. Yeah. And so I was undercutting them. Up until, except for that product, everything else was under $10. and it was
Yeah.
flat packed. So, I send out a 10-pound box and it has 500 units in it.
Wow.
So shipping per, price per unit to ship is absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So, the fun part about this is that you don't have to follow those rules.
Yeah.
This is something, I really took off on took off big when I started hearing about the rabbit trails and some golden nuggets. I started running some PPC and finding a little underserved niche. My niche is for that product line is very specific, but it's something that any mom with a vinyl cutter can do. If you're into, I don't know, cheerleading or fly fishing, whatever, you can serve a niche with your own handmade private label brand.
Right.
So, I don't have to wait for anything from China. I don't have to worry about tariffs. Occasional vendor supply issues, but a craft store has everything that you kind of need to start with that. So, and it's something where you find your niche and you find a product that sells a few of them a day and you're content with that.
That's awesome.
Especially if you have the time to ship it and you don't hate shipping like I do. So
right. But if you do, it's okay because you can partner up with Amazon and use their Fulfillment by Amazon program.
Right. But remember, if it's under $10, it doesn't need a tracking number. So if you have something that fits in an envelope that's under an ounce, you put a 50-cent forever stamp on there and it goes out, and your fulfillment cost at that point with the envelope and everything is like $1.50.
That's awesome.
So so anybody can do that. So it takes a little bit of creativity, some design aspects, and let's see, a vinyl cutter now starts at $120. So
wow.
But there's other areas that get into that. All the crafting areas, they can do that too.
Totally. So give me an idea of what's possible. So somebody that's listening to this, like, oh my gosh, I could do that. I do that in my spare time for fun. Talk about your where you started with your brand, and is like, give me an idea. You don't have to share like any private numbers or anything, but maybe sales numbers, where you started and where you are now, how many units that is, and then we'll get an idea of like what your margins are on that because you make it yourself.
Okay, I started off with just doing it. Like I said, I could knock out 10 of these on my lunch hour or half hour. I'd still take a half hour, hang out with the guys I was with, and the half hour I would spend, knocking these out. So I do 10 of them. The material cost was very minimal. At that point, I was buying retail, and then so maybe $2 total cost.
Yep.
And that was on a $20 product. So
wow, 2 to 20, those are great margins.
Yeah, they are. They really are. So let's see, that first month I sold just a few of them. Let's see, right now I'm selling about 4,000 to 5,000 units a month.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm in a couple different niches. Some of my big products, my high volume ones, it's crazy because with packaging and inserts and everything, I'm at less than $1. Okay. And they're selling for $10. Yeah. So, oh my goodness. Amazon, they can take their $3.60 and I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Cause you sell it for 10, $3.60, you're down to $6.40 and your cost is $1.
Yeah. Under $1. Yeah.
So you're going to make $5 or plus on each one. That's incredible.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, we're involved in the Down syndrome community. I have 2 girls right now that package, let's see, Beth, both of these girls have Down syndrome. They're adults with Down syndrome. I pay them very well. Very well. None of this sub minimum wage stuff.
Right.
The kids on college campuses are going, I wish I could make that much.
Yeah.
So, but Beth packages about 1,000 units every other week for me, and Sarah's up to about 600 units every other week for me. So, and Sarah, I know she's got a video on one of our private label pages. She just she loves doing it, and Beth does too.
That's awesome. I remember when you were here, we were having coffee. We chatted about that, and we had a company that we worked with that employed folks with Down syndrome and other disabilities. If I wanted to get started with that, so think about my listeners. There's people that want to outsource, and that one of the easiest places to outsource is their prep and ship. How do they get in contact with an organization? How would you direct them to search for an organization like that might be local, that would have somebody like a Beth and a Sarah that could come to their house or their warehouse and work?
There are advocacy groups like here in Louisville, we have Down Syndrome of Louisville. They actually have a work program for their adults where they have a couple people that go out to local businesses and talk to them about their needs. And then they know their students or the people that go to them for training and stuff. They know them well, so they know where they fit in. That's how I met Beth.
Okay.
Sarah is, her family has been at these reunions that we go to every year. So we've known Sarah for 4 or 5 years.
Wow. So just look for so would you type in like Google, Dallas, Fort Worth, Down syndrome advocacy, something like that maybe?
Yeah. Down syndrome or even like the autism groups, and many of these people, I mean, there is something that God created within us that we need to work.
Yeah.
That doesn't go away if you have a disability. Yeah. So, my 2 little guys, they are 2 of the hardest working little kids ever. I mean, from their chore list, we've got people that are like, do normal teenagers even do this stuff? Like Jackson, Josiah, they both unload the dishwasher. They do their own laundry with some hands-on help.
Sure.
And Josiah, he's the boss of the company right now. I mean, he's fired me several times. So, but there's that desire to work and accomplish something, and there's groups that recognize that. So, if you look for an advocacy group for disability advocacy. Wow, my tongue's not working today. But if you look for that, go to one organization that has something, and typically they have more. I have a meeting next week with the Autism Advocacy Group, and they actually have a packaging program where they do stuff like that. So that'll be interesting. That way, you don't have to. Right now, we're doing kind of 1099 work, but this way it would, it's completely on them. Because that's another thing I hate is all the accounting stuff.
Sure.
So write a check, I'm good. Drop off product, pick up product, I'm good.
Yeah.
So, and the big thing is I'm at a point where there's a lot of designs in my head that I need to work on. Production, I lost my production manager during COVID, but it was mostly because he got a full-time job somewhere else. But then we couldn't have anybody in the house because of the conditions that we need to have for our boys.
Yeah.
Jackson has a hole in his heart, so his cardiologist was like, keep everyone away that you can.
Okay.
That's changed a little bit now, but
sure.
Production, I can handle myself up to about 10,000 units a month. If I scale that back and have some help, that's when I get my design time. I hate packaging. My girls love packaging. I just need more of them.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's where my heart is.
That's cool.
I want to give people meaningful jobs. That's always been my goal with the business. Is I started off with once Rachel knew about it, I'm like, I want to have the boys involved. Be it just making sure they know colors or putting labels on or helping to package or they could be their own little influencers or whatever. But,
right.
So meaningful work for people who can do it.
That's
and
awesome.
Pay them well.
I bet your wife's on board now, right?
Very much so. I mean, we sold our house in 2000. When did we move here? 2014. We sold our house back in the holler of in Tennessee to come up to the big city of Louisville. And we've been living in apartments or rentals since then. And we just bought our house this June. Wow. So we got 5 acres outside of Louisville, and it's gorgeous, and it's such a blessing. And it's I can't imagine. We were talking the other day, and I'm like, I can't imagine going back to a 9 to 5. How do I do that? And she's like, oh, you can at this
No
point,
way.
because
No.
it's I'm working hard, and I get a text because I got machines running and I can't hear very much, so I've got my
Sure.
headphones in, and
Right.
I get a text from her. She's like, I need you upstairs now, and I go up. Something catastrophic has happened. Josiah's tried to cook something. It's crazy. Or the dog's been let out, or
Yeah, but you're there. You're not 20 minutes away or an hour away at a job that you hate.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So help me think about the people that might be. So we've not really delved in, even though I wrote the book Private Label the Easy Way. We've not really talked a lot about private label, and we don't have to talk about your brand. But give me some examples, or let's help direct somebody to these types of products. That it could be anything that's small, that's light. If you mentioned crafter, so like maybe like if they have a Cricut machine, they could actually be making stuff.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so what are some ways then, maybe because I'm not a crafter, I don't even know what I'm thinking about here, but like instantly the people who are crafters already know what I'm talking about and probably already have ideas going in their head. Could you maybe go to Etsy and start looking around like, oh, I could make that. I could make that.
Oh, absolutely.
And then just transfer it to Amazon.
Yep, absolutely. Now for me, time was very limited. So I wanted something that I could make 10, 20, 100 of. Sure. And just do it in one big run.
Yep.
But I mean, you have handmade on Amazon.
That's right.
And eBay. You can do it. You can market it there as well. I haven't gone into that. I don't want to customize things because I want to be high volume. I don't want to be the customized person. But there's a lot of space out there for customized jobs. If somebody wants Big Jim's truck on the back of their cab, they can knock that out. So
you're talking about vinyl lettering as an example. So things that you could go on a. Okay, I get it. I see what. So you put something on the back of a glass, or I could have some designs that maybe even could go on. They could stick onto a wall potentially.
Yeah. Okay. You also have iron-on transfers.
Okay.
Which are done with vinyl as well. But anything that would feed into the scrapbooking world, you've got that whole thing, that whole niche you can hit. Crafters, as far as crochet people, Grandma always had doilies around. I don't even know what they were for, but I mean, there's a bunch of 80-year-old people that are on Amazon right now. So
sure,
maybe Grandma needs a new doily that she doesn't have to do.
Right. So
crocheted stuff. I've seen people do handmade dog toys. Okay. Just stuff like that.
Incredible.
And then, being out where we're at, I was, do you know what an Osage orange tree is?
I don't.
They're also known as hedge trees, but they produce these round, sticky, citrusy kind of, they call them hedge apples. And I was just looking around, and we've got all kinds of these on our property now. And I typed it into Amazon. I'm like, hedge apples. Wow, they're selling.
Really?
They're selling a lot. Yeah.
Stuff right from your backyard you can pick up, and wow.
But I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities, but specifically for crafters, you've got all. Crafters will know their craft.
Yes.
So from quilt makers to, my wife is a sewer. Okay. I was going to say seamstress, but she doesn't do dresses and stuff. She's more of a quilter. So, but even making their little, 12-inch squares of fabric and selling them as a craft pack for a quilt, you can throw all that stuff together, and there's good money in that.
That's incredible. So talk about, like we talk, in this community, we don't want somebody to go out and spend thousands of dollars and do it. You want small tests. And so with this is perfect, because you could kind of research some type of niche and say, ooh, I want to come up with a sign that goes on the back of a car window that says this. Well, you could make just one and test it out. Would you even have to make it? If you,
if you do FBM, no, you
No,
don't have to make it.
you could just create the design and use the picture of the design and never even, and man, you could come up with hundreds of listings
Yeah.
that you've never had to actually print, if that's even the way what you call it. And then when somebody buys it, then you make it and ship it to them.
Yep. I'll give you an example of when I did that. Back when Kaepernick and the whole NFL kneeling thing went on. I did 2 stickers out of chrome vinyl that I have, and one was just an NFL with the no symbol on it, and the other one was it was a kneeling type thing. I can't remember the design exactly. That one didn't fly, but the no NFL one, oh my goodness! I went down to I was at a conference because where did I go? Oh, it was a biblical counseling conference I drove down to in Florida. And I had just launched it, and I'm like, I'll just take 50 of these with me. I'm only going to be gone for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Within the 3rd day, they had all sold, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Gosh.
So put that on pause till I get back, and then
that's incredible.
We'll rock it. But yeah, I mean, but anything political, you got to deal with the unverified reviews and all that stuff.
Sure.
It gets kind of crazy. I think they've cleaned that up by now, but
have they?
Yeah, I mean, you take advantage of a political situation or something in the news, and you don't have to have it made. That's the beauty of it.
You just come up with the ideas, use some software, I guess, right? And then take a picture of that design, make a listing out of it.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible.
So, yeah, I mean, for that one, I made one, took a few pictures of it on my car, and that was it. So, I had maybe half hour in design work, half hour in photography and cleanup and listing optimization, and 10 cents in an actual product.
Oh my
goodness. And that went on to sell. I want to say I sold probably 2,000 of those before the fad kind of died.
Man. Wow. So, I'm thinking like for me, if I wanted to do that, I'm probably not going to be the one to create the designs, but I could find somebody that knows how to make them, and I just come up with the ideas and partner with somebody, say, hey, will you make these for me? I have 50 designs I want to try. I'll pay you for the time to do it. We'll test them out on a small scale. And like you said, you don't even have to have them printed if you use fulfilled by merchant. Man, that's so cool. Whole business model.
And remember, under $10 there, you don't have to do the tracked shipping. So it goes from $3 for first class shipping down to 50 cents.
Wow. Private label that you make on your own.
Yeah.
Wow. Then we get into the whole 3D printers now that you can create your own products.
I'm trying. My dad really wants me to do some 3D printed stuff, but quite honestly, with what I have going on right now,
you don't have time.
No, but there is a huge market out there. Wow. So, I mean, everything from, I used to be into old tractors and stuff, and some of the carburetor parts, they don't make them anymore. So, but they have designs online. Just print one up, put it on Amazon.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if you have an antique tractor that's worth, $10,000 that you cannot buy a part for, but you can have it 3D printed.
Oh my gosh.
If it's necessary, that's very valuable.
Oh my.
So.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's a niche that I never even would have thought about,
Yeah. But then you can go ahead and cross merchandise that over to your merch account. Yeah. So any of these big sale items that are, these ideas or designs you come up with. So you make a bumper sticker or a window decal for it. You have a matching shirt for it.
Yeah.
Put that in your insert. Hey, check this out over on merch. QR code. Oh, I love QR codes now. Packaging inserts. It's somebody scans it with their phone. You don't have to type in the stupid web address or anything.
Yeah.
Just scan it and go. So
that's all. That's the same question. If they're interested in this, they might what else might they be interested in? And so a t-shirt, a mug, a hat related to that niche. That is cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, you got my brain turning just thinking about all the possibilities for people out there who don't want to do it the traditional way. They don't want to go to a manufacturer. They don't want to source in China. They don't even want to use necessarily my easy way method, which go into a wholesaler and ordering 12. Well, they already have a skill. Like you said, maybe they're a crafter and they already know how to use this
Yeah.
Cricut machine or this vinyl cutting machine or all this software and create your own private label.
Yeah. Yeah. So, or even designers who have a skill but don't necessarily have the equipment. There's sign shops out there that'll cut the stuff for you. Partner with them, get it going.
Yeah. So, like you said, there's so much opportunity out there.
There is.
Wow.
There is.
Really good.
So.
What advice? So let's wrap this up here. What are what advice you'd give people who are just starting out? Somebody who maybe is just like, gosh, I'd love to do what Joel's doing, and or just want to get started selling online. What would you tell them?
You have to do it. I mean, I like I said, I hated shipping stuff, so that was what was holding me back.
Yeah.
So I found out, my dad, thankfully, told me of a way to get around that. Mm-hmm. Amazon provides so much ease for a business.
Yeah.
You pay for it, but for me, that was a very well paid convenience.
Yeah.
But you have to get started. You can't just think about it. That's what's great about this model is you have an idea, get it down, get a listing up. Fumble through how to do a listing, get your account, figure out how to do the listings. There's plenty of tutorials on YouTube and stuff on how to do that, and all of your information in Jim's group. And it's easy to do, but you have to do the first one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be scared to death to do it and get that freeze up. So
you'll just think about it forever and never take action.
Yeah.
Take action. It's good advice, man. Well, Joel, thank you so much for being on with me. Very much appreciate it. Congratulations on your success. I love just how simple you've made it. It's not hard business at all. It's work, of course, but you are doing something cool. You're providing jobs for folks that otherwise might have a hard time finding a job. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Well, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on.
You got it.
You've been listening to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. From right here in the Dallas Metroplex, Ryan teaches several entrepreneurial courses and group coaching programs to students all over the world. Be sure to listen next week at the same time for Streams of Income with Ryan Rieger.